Welcome to the Powerlifting and Power Ballads podcast, where we bring you a weekly dose of powerlifting news, tips, and training advice with a touch of 80s rock ballads. This podcast is presented by Team Roar Powerlifting, your source of the most comprehensive coaching and meet day preparation. Here are your hosts, Josh Rohr and Laura Sturm.
Welcome to episode 157. How are you, Josh Rohr?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm awesome.
Cool.
Which sounds like a lie, but I actually am.
It sounds sarcastic, yes.
Right. Yeah, I didn't mean it to sound that way. I'm actually doing good.
That's good.
Sorry.
Glad to hear that.
Yeah. So what's going on in the powerlifting world?
Well, so I figure we'll start off with the rule book review and then get into some of the more fun stuff.
Okay.
So we'll hit two aspects of the blue highlights, which are the clarifications and or changes in the rule book. So section 2.3.8 subsection C. For local meets, the diameter of the bar is not to exceed 29 millimeters or be less than 28 millimeters. For state championships and higher, basically the diameter of the bar must be 29 millimeters. So the rule's always been 28 to 29, but if you've ever lifted on a 28 millimeter bar, it does have a lot more whip than 29. So, state meets and higher is where you can set American records. So I think the main reason there is to standardize what the deadlift records are going to be pulled on. Because I've pulled on a deadlift bar and it's literally given me like 80-ish pounds. And I've pulled on a 28 millimeter bar and it's probably given me like 20. So there is a difference. So I think that's just kind of standardizes what American records can be set on.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Which I'm kind of surprised they didn't just make it across the board 29, but I think part of the reason is a lot of people have the 28 millimeters. Some of the old Ivanko bars are 28. So it'd be kind of forcing the hand of meet directors to buy new equipment if they have the old bars already. So I think that's the reason.
Right.
And then collars, this is a new rule. Section 2.5.1 says collars must always be used unless the attempt is 20 kilos while using a 20 kilo bar. So that's the new part is you can use the bar without collars as an attempt. Previously, it had to be bar and collars, even if there were no plates on, which made it 25 kilos. So, people can take a 20 kilo attempt now. The caveat to that is 2.5.1.1 is basically says that 22.5 kilos is not a valid attempt because if you go from a 20 kilo bar and add a 2.5 kilo collar to each side, that goes to 25. So there's no way to actually get 22.5. So the reason this was put in is there are some lifters that are not. So I guess to clarify, like youth lifters, Masters 4 lifters, and Special Olympians are allowed to use a lighter bar, but anybody else has to use a 20 kilo bar. And there's some people, some Masters 3s, some people with shoulder issues, whatever, that they can't do 25 kilos. So this just kind of makes it more accessible for some of those lifters to do a bench or whatever the lift is, squat, whatever. So again, not like crazy changing rules here, but it's just like little clarifications and kind of common sense exceptions. I think that just makes the barrier of entry a little bit easier.
Right. And I have seen this at a meet, and I've always had a question about it when I was meet director. Is like, okay, someone has a attempt of 20 kilos. Well, are they taking that from the floor? Because that seems cruel and unusual. But
Yeah,
there's no clarification around that.
Yeah, I mean they would have to. So that we'll get to that, but like the diameter of the plates doesn't change. So like if you pull like 30 kilos, like you'd be pulling with a little plate.
Right.
So basically, yeah, if you're pulling 25 kilos, you're pulling the bar from the floor, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now,
It's
Special
cool.
Olympics and youth are allowed to use the 2.5 kilo bumper plates to standardize the height. But anybody else
Mm.
taking a attempt lower than that has to just pull from the floor.
Mm.
So,
That's cruel and unusual punishment.
well, is it?
All right, maybe it's not that important, but
Um,
there you go.
yeah. The Arnold registration opened on the first, and there's an email to all the lifters that qualified, like for the Masters finals or the Open finals. They were sent an email on November 29th, and basically it said that registration is going to open on December 1st, and the deadline to accept is December 2nd. So there was essentially a 24-hour period that you could register, and the that was for like the people that qualified for the finals.
Mm.
And registration also open for like the raw challenge and things like that, and that was just first come first serve, and that meat always sells out in like seconds. But the frustrating part is like we had one lifter that qualified for the finals that didn't sign up within that 24-hour window, and her his or her
Mm.
link to register, expired, and they're going to invite more people to register, even though she rightfully earned the spot. So he or she rightfully earned the spot.
Right,
But we emailed, and they're going to include the original people that did not sign up in the next round of invites. But the issue is like it's still going to be a first come first serve now because some people have already registered. There's a cap, and they invited the exact number of people that fit in the final. So our lifter that qualified
mm.
still could theoretically get left out because just if other people that get the invite at the same time on round two sign up first.
Right,
So I'm not sure why that code for the people that qualified initially didn't just stay active because in my opinion,
right,
they are the ones that qualified. They should have first right of refusal. So anyway, that's
right.
my little pet peeve there with that. But
Yeah,
um,
24 hours notice is 24 hours to get it and then make a decision of whether you're going to travel and sign up like that. That's a,
yeah, I think most people
or maybe
knew.
you knew,
Most people, yeah,
right?
most people knew at that point. But I mean, the email came out like midday on the 29th, and then so you had half a day on the 29th, all day on the 30th, and then it opened on the first and closed on the second. So like, if you didn't check your email for 4 days, which I know that's most people do, but like, or if you
Right,
just have other things going on and that you don't have a chance to do
right.
that.
Well, and it's the
So
holiday season. So a lot of people probably were, extending their holidays a little bit and maybe
yeah,
not checking it as much.
yeah, it's possible. So
Yeah,
anyway, so we'll see what happens, but
boy.
yeah. So one of our lifters missed out on getting into the Raw Challenge. Was trying to sign up and didn't make it, and then we got the one in the Pro Finals that didn't get in either. So we'll see what happens.
Mm.
Hopefully, fingers crossed. But this is the segue to I think what caused my dream last night. So have you ever had the dream where you're like going to a meet to lift and like you forget something or
Yes,
okay. Well, I have that
terrible.
dream a lot, even now, even though I'm not really competing anymore. But I
Hmm.
had my first dream slash nightmare from a coach's standpoint last night, and it was kind of crazy. And I wrote it down as soon as I woke up because I wanted to talk about it. Because usually, you know how as the day goes on, you start forgetting about it.
Right.
So basically, we were at the Arnold, and I was coaching in the Masters Pro Finals. Um, we had all of our lifters. We had Joe and Lee on the equip side. Oh, I'm sorry, on the raw side. Then on the equip side, we had Stacy Metcalf, Laura Sterland, Katie Dodge, and Amy Pancake competing. I had signed up to announce the session before that they were competing. So I was announcing and this is the weird part. You know how dreams don't make sense. I
Mm.
was announcing with one of my high school track teammates. His name was David.
It's random.
I haven't talked to him since high school. We were never really like I mean, we were friends, but not really friends. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's just weird. Like I haven't thought about that guy in 20 years.
Ugh,
and he was in my anyway, whatever. Um,
that's funny.
so I'm announcing and I fall asleep while I'm announcing, which again, that's weird. And apparently I wake up and I think it's the day before. So I think it's like the day before they lift. Well, I wake up and then realize that I completely missed their session. So I start
Wow.
freaking out and like, so Joe and Lee, they're not really in the dream because they're lifting raw. And I know, Greg is there to help, is going to be there to help Lee and, Wade Johnson's going to be there to help Joe. So they weren't really in my dream because I wasn't worried about them. Um, I wasn't really worried about Laura Sterling either because Wade's going to be there to help her as well. But the first people I see are Stacy and Katie Dodge, and they both come over to me and they're like, "Hey, where were you?" I'm like, "Ah, I'm so sorry. Like I slept. Like I felt. I don't know how I fell asleep. Nobody woke me up. Like I don't. And they're like, no, it was fine. Like, we had a great meet. And Katie's like, yeah, I squatted 490. I'm good with that. I'm like, but like she squatted well over five before. So I'm like,
Right.
what are you saying here? Um, but I'm like, no, I'm so sorry. Like that has never happened to me. Like, I don't know what happened. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, you know, I don't know what to say to make it right. They're like, oh, don't worry about it. And then Amy walks over and she looks at me square in the eyes and shakes her head, looks away and walks away. And it like crushes me. And so I go, like, I take a minute because I'm like, I need to get my thoughts together here, like what I'm going to say to her. So I walk up to her and I'm like, Amy, I'm so sorry. Like, I don't know what happened. Um, and she walks away again. And then Stacy comes over. She's like, yeah, she had trouble even getting her suit on. Like she missed like two of her squats timed out. Like she really had a bad meet. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, so I go over to her and she's over again. So I
Wow.
go walking over to her and her husband, Adam, and her son, Taylor, basically stand in front of her and says, she doesn't want to talk to you.
Oh, wow. This is a very detailed
Oh,
dream.
so I wrote down details because like it was very detailed.
Wow.
But they were both like, and they're both like super chill. Like Adam and Taylor are like,
Yeah,
usually
yeah.
like super chill, and they were both just like, I've never seen them really really mad, and they were both really mad, like to the point like I just dropped it and walked away, and just figured like Amy would never talk to me again, and that's when I woke up.
Wow.
Yeah, so I don't even know what to do
That's
with that.
amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that was my first like dream slash nightmare as a coach that I just slept through
Yeah. So
the the pro
most of your
finals.
dreams, your powerlifting dreams, so you're the lifter and something's going wrong. You can't find your singlet. You can't
Yeah,
make it to meet or make it to the meet at all. Or yeah.
but this is the first meet where I've like really screwed over other people in my dream, like
Wow.
unintentionally. And like I'm still affected by it. Like it's bothering me still. Like as I'm talking about it,
Wow. I think you
it
need to
was
like
real.
just talk to Amy to make sure that she knows that you're really there for her.
Yeah. Well, that's this is going on the podcast too. Like I'm putting it out there. Like hopefully this is like washing away any
Right.
bad vibes or whatever.
Oh, wow. That's
But
pretty funny.
I can guarantee like I'm setting multiple alarms at the Arnold this year. Like I will not sleep through it.
Yeah. Well, and to sleep through something while you're announcing,
Yeah, that's the
that's
other part. Like
pretty
so
narcolepsy.
so here's the other here's so sometimes dreams are formed by like the perfect storm of like conversations and things. So like obviously the registration thing with the Arnold where people didn't get in. And then
Mm.
at dinner last night, Hope and I were talking about all the places I've fallen asleep. She's like, he's fallen asleep at the airport on Thanksgiving, like the busiest travel day of the year. He's fallen asleep at the airport in India, almost missed his flight home. Fell asleep after weigh-ins in India, like before he competed. Like he can sleep anywhere. And that was the conversation. And she was just like kind of making fun of me.
Mm.
Talking, we were talking with our au pair, and she was just telling her about, you know, all the places I've slept.
Strange
And then
places.
Yeah, and then and then that was dinner. Then we kind of wind down, go to sleep. So like I had the registration happen basically the same
Mm,
day, and then talking about the sleeping everywhere. So I think that's where the falling asleep at
yeah, probably.
announcing part came in. But it's
That's
weird,
funny.
man. Dreams are
I have
weird.
seen you fall asleep on a cement floor at a busy meet.
Yeah, I have done that
Yeah.
multiple
Yep.
times.
Multiple times.
Yeah, I mean it happens. If you're tired, you're tired. But like,
Yeah,
yeah,
I can't do that. I don't have the gift of A, being able to fall asleep, and definitely not in a place where there's a lot of people on a cement floor. Would never happen.
yeah,
So
yeah. I don't know.
you're like, yeah, it's just normal
Yeah,
for me. Whatever.
yeah, it happens. Oh well.
Nice.
All right. New lifter tip? Yes? No?
Oh, I am so ready to move on.
Got it. Okay. So this one was actually submitted by I don't know if I don't know if he or she wants me to say their name or not, so I won't. But the tip is do your accessories and push them hard. Um, I think this is a big one because, lifters, and I am talking to a lot of the lifters on our team. So, um, looking at their programming, a lot of people they do their main lifts and all that stuff, and then the accessories are blank. They're not there for no reason. You know, the accessories are meant to, build muscle in deficient areas, but also, just make you more of a well-rounded and keep you healthy. So, point being is like, even when people do them, sometimes they're like, oh, they're just the accessories. I'll just kind of go through the motions. Like, those are, I mean, if you want to assign an RPE to them, like, essentially most of unless it says otherwise, like, assume the accessory movements are meant to be like an RPE 9 or 10. Like, you're pushing them to the limit because most of them are, single joint movements. They're not big compound movements. They're going to really tax the nervous system. So, they're meant to really put tension and stress on the individual muscles. We don't program them just for shits and giggles. Like they're there for a reason. Like do them and push them hard. I think that was a great tip.
That was a great tip. And when you said I'm talking to some people on our team, and then you like opened up your eyes really wide and like stared into the camera, I'm like, well, but
I wasn't
okay.
talking to you.
Oh, okay. Because I'm like,
I was talking to anybody that might be watching the video of this. It's on our team.
I took it personally. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Because I mean, that is the easy thing to do is just like, okay, I've got this, I really concentrated on my squats, but now I've got these accessories, but now I've run out of time. So yeah, I'm just going to either half-ass these or do some of them, or yeah, not at all.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
know, easy
Yeah.
thing to
And
do.
and looking back, if anybody's like, man, I didn't make as much progress as I thought, well, I would say the first thing to look at is did you push your accessories? Did you do your accessories and did you push them hard or not?
Mm,
Um, you know, Obviously there's other things, there's recovery, there's nutrition, all that stuff, but a lot of times it's as simple as you just didn't do your accessories and push them hard.
mm.
So stop it.
Like the Bob Newhart skit.
Yep.
Yeah, love that one. Stop it.
Stop it.
All right. So we have some voting coming up.
Yeah.
I like
So
this.
by the time this comes out, we're gonna have a link in our bio at PL Ballads Podcast on Instagram to vote and defend whether Die Hard is a Christmas movie or not. And we're gonna announce the vote, I don't know, probably right before Christmas. And I'm going to argue the opposite of whatever people voted,
Nice.
just for fun.
I didn't know that this was such a contentious topic, so I just kind of casually brought it up with a couple people, and
Oh,
people
it's
had
very
like
content.
opinions about this, and I was
People
like,
have,
wow, yeah,
that's why I want to let people chime in because people have strong opinions. It's not even just like, I think it's like, no, it is a Christmas movie, or that is definitely not a Christmas movie. Like it's not
right.
like, I'm not sure. It's like they're
Strong
so
convictions, I think is
yeah,
what
that's
you're
what I
trying
was
to say.
trying.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah. I mean, it's like the toilet paper under over thing. It's like people have really strong opinions over something that I actually don't give a shit about. And I don't mean that's a pun. Um, like people do have strong opinions of that.
I agree. So I also have a strong opinion.
Hmm. All right. So that
We're
might
not
be the
gonna do
next vote.
I guess I won't give my opinion.
Defend.
We'll man, these topics are really going downhill here. All right, toilet paper. This week's topic.
Well, there was some random thing I was watching talking about like Instagram and social media. Like when you're trying to sell yourself in any way, you shouldn't be like focusing on your product. You should be focusing on the lifestyle of who would buy your product and what you're trying to push. And I started thinking about that, and I'm like, oh, Team Roar, we're random and kind of quirky and odd. And if you're like that, you should be on our team, type of thing, right? Like I feel like that's kind of like our message that we're trying to push. Like, hey, we're random geeky people that like music. This is our lifestyle. Join
Hey,
us.
you don't fit in with anybody anywhere. Hey, join us.
Yes. If you feel like you're a misfit at Christmas time, we do too. If are you
Yeah.
socially awkward? Be part of our team.
Yeah.
So I think we just need to embrace that idea. Like this is who we are, and this is our our lifestyle.
I mean, I thought we have been embracing it.
We just never like voiced it. Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's a big secret that we're all pretty awkward. So,
Yeah, power lifters. Well, there was some skit that was like, yeah, you're that awkward emo person in high school that just didn't fit in anywhere and cut yourself because maybe you just were just that weird. Maybe not the cutting yourself part. I didn't do that, but there was a lot. There's a bro science video. I'll have to look that up and send it to you because I identified with a lot of those things in the bro science video. Like you should be a power lifter if. So
yeah.
I'll send it to you and post it part of the podcast.
All right. Cool. Yeah, I think I've seen that one actually. There was a bunch. Yeah, it was a while ago.
Yeah, and the Bob Newhart skit. That's the other one. If you haven't seen that, go see it.
Yeah. Simple advice. Stop it.
Yes. Classic.
Yeah. Cool.
Because that's all it takes.
That's all it takes. Just stop it. Okay. Well, on that note, this podcast, let's just stop it.
Good point.
All right. Bye.
Goodbye.
Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode of the Powerlifting and Power Ballads podcast, please remember to subscribe and share it with your friends.